Immediately after the establishment of the State of Israel, riots broke out in Libya. The Jewish quarter of Tripoli became the scene of a pogrom. Only 80 Jews remain in Libya today as prisoners. In Tunisia and Morocco, Jews had their own share of suffering. They were not allowed licenses for commercial purposes or practicing their crafts or professions. The Jews were closed out of education and denied the normal life of citizens. Thousands of Jews had to leave Tunisia and Morocco in a hurry and make their way to Israel. Most horrific was the fate of the Syrian Jews. Bits of horror stories were leaked out by foreign journalists. The Jews were cut off from the rest of the world. Inside the Jewish quarters, a systematic extermination was carried out. No one was allowed to visit, nor to report. Jews were given special cards for identification. Such fear prevails in Syria today that no cameraman has been able to come close to the Jewish people. Jews themselves have a deadly fear of cameras, and the government authorities do everything to discourage observation. They are prisoners within invisible prisons. They can't even cry for help. In between massacres, Egypt took legal action in the Company Law 138 of 1929. The law stipulated that at least 75% of office employees and 90% of manual workers in all enterprises must be of Egyptian nationality. The victims of this discriminatory piece of legislation were thousands of Jews who were born and lived in Egypt for generations. Yet they were not recognized by the government as real Egyptians. A warning of what was to come appeared in the pogrom of 1936. The streets of Cairo were filled with swelling mobs who turned on the Jewish community. The Egyptian police took the lead in the looting of Jewish synagogues and Jewish homes, which turned into an orgy of killings. The Egyptian government managed to divert the bewilderment of the people over the truth with Israel into a tremendous hot hysteria against the Jews of Egypt. In and around the Jewish quarters, a real manhunt took place. People were dragged out of their cars, trampled upon, beaten up, and stabbed. Terrified eyewitnesses told of women being raped on the streets in broad daylight. The protocols of the Elders of Zion, the vicious fabrications of the Russian Tsarist police about Jewish world conspiracy, were translated into Arabic by Shaki Abd al-Nasser, the brother of President Nasser of Egypt, who publicly vouched for their authenticity. Dr. and Mrs. Salama were expelled from Egypt, and they now live in Israel.
I was a physician for the National Bank of Egypt. I used to work at home as well. And I was dismissed from my work, went back home. Two secret police were waiting for me. They told me that I was arrested, gave me a few minutes to pack a few things, and took me to a police station, from one police station to the other, until they found out where I had to be taken. And they took me to a concentration camp.
3 months went like this, without no news at all, nothing at all. And then one day I was informed to go to the airport and to meet him, to take him. I found him with handcuffs, as if he was a thief or as if he had murdered somebody. And they took off the handcuffs only when we were in the plane.
While we were in the concentration camp, we were called and we were told that we had to leave Egypt. Oh, we had to sign a declaration that we were leaving by our own free will, that we wanted to leave.
My husband was born in Egypt. All his family has always been in Egypt. They worked in Egypt. He worked in Egypt, but still he was not an Egyptian citizen. He had no nationality. He was a second-class citizen. That's very strange, but that's how it was for a lot of Jews in Egypt who were born in Egypt but never had nationality.
What were you allowed to take with you?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Are refugees that were expelled from Arab states because our existence there became impossible. But we didn't bring them here to this country in order to keep them as refugees. We brought them here in order to integrate them, to absorb them, and to build a new people, a new Israeli people. I think that it was a shame for the state of Israel that our brothers that came from Iraq, that came from Morocco, that came from other places in the world, will be here in their homeland in status of refugees. So we gave up the help, the assistance that we were entitled to get from international funds.
These people, then, have been chased out of the countries where they were born, which means that they have been displaced. Where do you want them to go? The only place for Jews to immigrate was to Israel, but the Arabs claim Israel as an Arab land. Therefore, to de-Zionize Israel is not to let them move, but they were forced to move. Where could they go, then? To the North Pole?